Everyone, welcome back to the VENDO podcast. Today, your hosts are me, Sarai, and Pablo. We are from the Walmart media buying team, and we are going to be talking about Walmart's new second price auction and a few other updates that Walmart has done within the past few weeks. So, Pablo, do you want to go ahead and talk about the second price auction that was announced June 6th?
Yeah, totally. So with Walmart, so just to give everyone some context, as media buyers, Sarai and I, we manage multiple brands, and we giving the brands specific goals and budgets. We manage help manage their campaigns, help manage their listings, what kind of placements we want to get them, whether it's more brand awareness and pure ROI strategy. We work and manage their campaigns day to day, optimizing keywords, optimizing bids, really giving the brands the best bang for their buck, essentially. So with this new second price bidding feature that Walmart enabled on June 6th, or in other words, the auction bidding has opened up a lot of opportunities for our brands to really get their products out on Walmart.com for longer periods of time, and kind of just expand their reach across the board. Now that their budget is being used more efficiently, they have leftover budget to be allocated in other placements on other shelves. So let me kind of walk you through what Walmart has essentially done. So previously, Walmart did first price bidding. So what that meant is, let's say you have brand A is bidding $1 on vitamins, and the next highest competitor, brand B, is bidding 80 cents for that same placement. Previous to June 6th, what Walmart did is, assuming that both brands met Walmart's minimal requirements for relevancy, which would have been to rank in the top 120 organic results and have the relevant shelf and product type. Both brands could essentially compete on that bid. And obviously, brand A has the higher bid at $1 compared to the 80-cent bid that brand B has. So brand A would historically win that placement, which hasn't changed with auction bidding, but previously Walmart would take the entire dollar, and although the next highest competitor is only bidding 80 cents, we're having to pay $1 because that's what we set our bid at. Now, with auction bid launching on June 6th, what that has enabled for our brands is the ability to, let's say, hey, we're bidding $1, they're bidding 80 cents. We're only going to bid, or we're only going to be charged 81 cents per click, because Walmart will bring it down to be 1 cent higher than the next highest bid, assuming that brand A and brand B have the same levels of relevancy. Because that's another change that has gone into effect, which we'll go into more details later on in the podcast. But yeah, this has been really beneficial right off the bat for a lot of our brands. Has been kind of a different kind of challenge for some of our other brands, but Sarai, why don't you go ahead and share a little bit more about what you've initially seen since the auction bid launched on June 6th?
Yeah, I mean, at first, I was really excited to hear about Walmart doing this because it's something definitely new and different than what we've worked with in the past. So you're kind of open to the idea of, yeah, like the more relevant my keyword is, I'm going to win a placement. But when I first saw results the first week, it wasn't all to my advantage. I saw a bunch of my brands actually suffer, and it really made me do a deep dive to figure out, what the root of the problem was, where I needed to be bidding more, how high I needed to be bidding, and how relevant my keywords needed to be now that this was established. So the first week was very much a trial and error week where I was seeing what was going wrong, where I could fix it. And then week 2, I mean, I saw after my optimizations, I saw a pickup in a bunch of areas that were suffering. So, I mean, it is very beneficial because it did allow me to go and analyze and definitely see where I needed to be bidding more on, especially with my grocery brands, because that's such a competitive spot. A lot of brands are targeting the same keywords. So you really need to kind of expand and see what fits your brand the most.
No, I totally agree with that. It's definitely gotten more competitive. I've definitely seen that change as well. Sarai, I don't know if you can share any specific details, but I think we'd love to hear what kind of initial struggles you saw with some of your brands when that changed changed over on June 6th, and kind of what you were able to do to kind of mitigate those losses.
Yeah, so the first week, the week of June 6th is where I saw everything kind of look a little different on my end. My ROAS wasn't as great for a lot of my brands. And, you know, when you see that, you kind of start freaking out because you're like, okay, where do I need to initially find that everything went wrong? And you had to keep in mind that the second price auction had just started. So a lot of brands, even if they were performing good a week before, could probably see a dip a week later. What I went ahead and did with those brands that were struggling is I went into my keywords. I saw which ones were performing well and which ones weren't. I even did keyword research, added keywords from search term reports, even Helium 10, just to really try to stay relevant, because this is all about relevancy now. So those were a few things that I did, increasing my bids as well, trying to compete with others to score, you know, page 1 placement. And then after that, a week later, I did see a pickup in ROAS and in sales for my brands that were struggling the week before. And CPCs were dropping too, which was really amazing to see, because before, you know, if we bid higher, if we add more keywords, if we increase anything, we see a higher CPC, which, you know, sometimes is really concerning because we're trying to lower that. But with this second bid auction, we've seen that CPCs have decreased and our ROAS go up.
Yeah, no, and that kind of ties it into the next point, which across all our brands, from an overall perspective, we've seen CPC decrease by over 33%, which has been really exciting for us. I know it's been a struggle for everyone on the media buying team for Walmart.com to figure out the optimal bids for all our brands, all the keywords we're targeting, just because Walmart, with the first price bidding feature, it really was, you know, a guess and check kind of strategy. Kind of saying, okay, hey, if we're bidding here, if we decrease the bid at 10%, let's test this out. Let's see what our return is. Are we seeing an increase in sales? Are we starting to lose are we starting to lose some of the placements that we're bidding on? So it was a lot more trial and error. It was definitely a lot more work. So having the auction bid enabled is definitely helping from that perspective, to seeing CPC just go down overall. I think it is helping it is hurting some of our smaller brands in more competitive spaces, as you were saying, in the grocery space especially, where some larger brands were anticipating this auction bid change and really quickly out the bat felt more comfortable increasing their bids, knowing that that Walmart would only charge them to the next highest bid, which essentially started to hurt our smaller brands, because A, they weren't spending as much, or B, they were starting to get lower quality placements. You know, once the larger brands with the larger budgets, once they ran out of budget, the smaller brands would kick in, but the ROAS for, you know, later in the day past 5-6 p.m. Pacific time is a lot lower than prime time. So definitely had to rethink how we look at our strategy. Definitely felt a lot more comfortable increasing our bids though, given the auction bid strategy that took effect. But we as a team definitely took a wait and see approach because we didn't want to just jump in and say, hey, we're going to increase all our bids and then see our ROAS just drop across the board. So I'm glad to see that this Walmart feature is working well. And across another change that we've seen across our portfolio is specifically with the SBA brand, our CPC has dropped more than half because that was one of Walmart's features that was always a little bit more tricky to predict. And with that $1 cost per click minimum, it could get really pricey to try to win a specific keyword when you're trying to target a whole set of keywords, but really trying to allocate more spend to one specific keyword, then it was tricky because then you would have to increase the bid for that specific keyword, as Walmart wouldn't allow different ad groups and would limit it to 10 items. It's very limited what we can do within SBA. So this auction bid change, at least from a cost efficiency perspective, is definitely helping this. And from a ROAS perspective, it's obviously helping search and grid, our buybacks ROAS. Those placements are just performing a lot better across the board. Another reason that the SBA campaign isn't performing as well is that now Walmart has made a change on the same June 6th that organic placements can have a duplicate sponsored placement living on the same shelf. So what this means is if a brand's already for the most part has high organic placement on a specific keyword, let's say vitamins, and that same brand is spending money to advertise on the keyword on the search term vitamins, more than likely their products are going to show up twice on that search term, which is great. It gives that brand more shelf space. It just hurts some of our smaller brands that don't have that naturally high organic ranking or don't have as much of a budget to work with.
Very good brand awareness overall.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it is helping those brands that are willing to spend with Walmart Connect and spend on Walmart.com. And it's obviously that's what Walmart Connect wants, is to reward those brands that are spending more with them. So I think this is definitely a more effective way to list products on the site, and it's what Amazon's been doing for a while. And it can help some smaller brands who are willing to spend that money to get more shelf space on Walmart.com. It means that their products can, with those 4 available listings on the top row, can really gain some momentum pretty early in their launch on Walmart.com.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know another topic that we wanted to cover was relevancy, because this is also affecting how our brands are winning the bids and kind of what we need to communicate to our account management team and the brands themselves on changes they need to make to help advertise on Walmart.com. Sarai, do you want to go into more details on the changes with relevancy?
Yeah, so recently, relevancy has always been key, but now it's even more important because for your brand, if you really want to be on page 1, you have to have the relevant keyword in order to maintain that spot. And I know that one thing that I have done ever since this second price auction has launched is I've gone into keywords and put them at the broad and exact match. And Walmart has suggested, put the highest on the exact, your highest bid on the exact, and your lowest bid on your broad. And you really do see the difference because when you're targeting at an exact level, you are seeing your brand kind of target the exact keyword that it needs to target, which is really beneficial because you're trying to be at the top of search placements. And honestly, like bid multipliers also help as well with these, with keeping these top performing placements. But relevancy now is more important than ever. it's the only way to keep your keywords at the best spot, really. Like, you can't advertise, let's say, laundry detergent and put it's fabric softener. Like, you can't do that anymore. Like, you have to actually target a relevant keyword in order for your brand to have a successful spot.
Yes, no, and that's a great point to bring up. Walmart functions very differently from Amazon, where Amazon having a huge list of keywords in your product name, in your key features, your description, helps you get better organic placement and helps you be more relevant on Amazon. Whereas with Walmart, they view that more as kind of just keyword vomit. So they want you to be very selective with the keywords you use in the product name specifically. You can expand more within the site description, but Walmart generally recommends, 2 to 3 sentences there. It's kind of more on the key features of the product, where Walmart encourages to add more keywords. And this ties all back into Walmart's content quality score. This is a tool that helps measure the relevancy of a product display page on Walmart.com, and it's on a scale of 0 to 100. I'm not going to go into too many details, but essentially this is now, they're using that number to determine relevancy for advertising. So what we can do as media buyers is, go back to account managers and say, hey, like, I know we've emphasized content quality before, but now we need to make it a higher priority because it's affecting how we're winning bids on Walmart.com. And not only that, it's always affected, the overall conversion of products on the site, because as we have seen, products that don't have reviews, that don't have enough images, that site description is minimal, obviously aren't going to perform as well. So that's always been a communication to our account management team. But now that Walmart is actually made the official announcement that they are using the content quality number, it's especially important for brands to emphasize having high quality content, videos, reviews. It's all essential to one, winning the bids, and two, getting great conversion across the board.
Yeah. It's all becoming more and more important now. Like, before, we didn't have to worry about this stuff. We obviously, would always keep constant communication with the AMs and kind of just tell them, like, this is where we see a problem. But now Walmart is really saying, like, this is what's going to get you the #1 spot. And if you don't have this, then you're being outbidded.
Exactly. Yes. And with these changes as well, another thing that I wanted to add is something that we've kind of seen across all our brands is our brands that do have that highest spend, obviously with the lower cost per click, we expect spend to go down and sales to go up because our bids are more efficient. And that has happened for our higher spending brands. We have seen a stronger ROAS and a decrease in spend. However, it has been, after the first week of results, a little bit concerning for us, where spend has decreased at a faster rate than our CPC has decreased. Essentially, it could, essentially what's happening is that our spend is going much lower than it should be going. So it could be due to a decrease in traffic on the site, given that Walmart just had their the Big Save campaign, or their Deals for Days campaign, from June 5th through June 10th. So that definitely did affect traffic, especially for some specific categories in electronics and toys. But overall, our spend shouldn't be going that lower. So that's what essentially what that's telling us, is that our competitors are increasing their bids. They are winning those earlier placements in the day. So there's definitely more opportunity for not just for our brands to increase our bids and win some of the earlier placements, but with the more efficient bidding process now, they have that expanded budget to go after some more longer tail keywords or compete in some high traffic keywords that they didn't necessarily want to allocate budget for previously.
I mean, I definitely know what you're talking about. My spend has gone down more than I thought it would. And it is concerning because, you know, you're trying to bid and you're trying to win these placements, but your spend just keeps going down. So it doesn't make any sense. But it does initially mean that you're being outbidded and that you need to increase those bids as high as you can, because it's really competitive. Now you really see the competition.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess to wrap up, essentially, Walmart launched their auction bidding on June 6th. That's where we've been seeing changes. Our bidding is more efficient. We're seeing higher ROAS for the most part. Some smaller brands are benefiting from their limited budgets. Some smaller brands are struggling due to other brands increasing their bids overall. And Walmart has made changes to relevancy on product display pages on PDPs. So it's more important now than ever to have good content on your item pages. But in general, this is a great, healthy direction for Walmart to be moving in. With this release, this is something that Amazon's always had and has always helped brands feel more comfortable investing more in Amazon.com, knowing that their bids were being used more effectively. Now Walmart can compete, at least from an efficiency standpoint, on that same level. So this is really exciting for our brands that are emphasizing spending on search for Walmart.com. And I'm really excited to see what Walmart's going to release next. I know something that Walmart has been talking about is negative keyword targeting. That's really exciting. I know
I'm excited for that one.
Yes. I know Subscribe and Save is on the docket for something to be released hopefully in the near future. So these are all some really exciting changes for our brands to really grow on Walmart.com and to really see a better return for the spend that they are allocating toward Walmart.com. So I know our brands are excited, Walmart's excited. So
a lot of exciting things.
Yes, and we hope to have another podcast soon with the newest Walmart feature. But thank you for joining us today. We're very happy to have you today.
Yeah, this was very informative. So I hope that everyone enjoyed this.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.